Hey everyone, I know that maybe you don't know who I am yet. My name's Gene, and today I'm be talking about the 12 books that I read this year. Well, did I like them? What I took from them? How to get into reading kind of a little bit as a regular dude, and just overall thoughts and opinions on reading in general and what I've learned, I guess, this last year that I've been reading all these. The first thing I want to talk about is like the reason why I made this video, because when you first start getting into reading, it can be a little bit of a daunting kind of task. And when you go and search on the internet, you see a lot of people that are telling you to read this, read that, and it seems like these people are like very proficient readers or people that read as a hobby very often. And when I was first getting into it, I didn't really know what I was going to enjoy. I didn't really have any idea. I mean, everybody tells you, "Oh, read this. This is the classics. This is the stuff you have to read." But a lot of it's kind of boring, and I don't know. I'm just like a regular dude. I was just like, what does a normal guy start with? So I think that's part of the reason why I wanted to make this video. I'm not a reader at all. I wouldn't call myself a reader. I mean, I've read these 12 books the last year. But that's only because I set my goal to do that. If it wasn't for that, I honestly haven't read a book since Diary of a Wimpy Kid in like middle school. It's been a long time. So why why did I do this? So I think nowadays more than ever, people are kind of coming full circle. I mean, we've been connected by social media for a very long time, and we are kind of getting tired. I don't think it's just me. I've heard a lot of people, my friends are telling me, hey, I'm getting off Instagram, hey, I'm getting off TikTok, hey, I'm getting off of Facebook, whatever, what have it, whatever you use. And I think people are just kind of coming full circle on this. It's like we spent the last 15 years getting connected through the internet, and now people are kind of like, whoa, it's too much. And especially with the takeover of AI and just government surveillance, internet surveillance, you're always being watched, everyone's seeing everything. There's kind of a call to retreat to more physical and like tangible spaces. And I think a way that we can kind of reclaim some authority, the little authority we can reclaim, is by being present in physical mediums, like when you're doing music, going to a concert and seeing a band play, as opposed to streaming them, or say reading a book. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm better than you because I read. I don't think anyone is a substantially better person from reading. Sure, it's gonna be improvement, but you're not gonna sit here and all of day to night become some sort of intellectual just because you read books. Like, the reality is, if you're not coming at it with the mindset of this is going to be a hobby that, just like every hobby, is supposed to bring me joy, it's supposed to bring me fulfillment, and you're not looking for, a quick shortcut on how I'm gonna become the ultimate mega mind genius and how this is gonna make me the ultimate like alpha or something. Don't expect crazy returns from reading right away. I'm sure that the people that have been reading a long time and that keep up with this, they can tell you all about that. But I'm telling you, for my first year, it wasn't like I woke up some mega mind genius and all of a sudden I was spitting facts at everyone and I was some socially affluent individual that could just talk my way through everything. No, that didn't happen. And that's not going to happen. I think it's important to set that expectation from the start. Okay, how did I start reading? Well, I think it's first kicked off with my interest in Hunter S. Thompson, and that's this crazy sort of journalist from the 70s and like the late 60s, and just a really big hippie weirdo guy experiencing counterculture at that time, and that's what first really piqued my interest. If anybody has seen the fantastic movie with Johnny Depp, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, it's awesome. It's great. That was my intro, into this whole world. I was like, that's really interesting. And then when I found out there was a book about it, I'm like, hey, well, if I like this so much and I don't want this movie to end, well, what world can I go into? How can I look into this further? And that was just, yeah, by looking into the book. The problem was when I went to Barnes and Nobles, they didn't have Fear and Loathing. It's a popular one. So, believe it or not, my first one into Hunter S. Thompson was actually this book right here called The Hells Angels, where he goes into following the notorious biker gang, the Hells Angels, for like a whole, I think, a year or 2 years. I don't really remember exactly. And it's just funny because here was me coming in with this mentality that books are supposed to be very serious and kind of like academic and smart and stuff. And this is fun. It's vulgar. And same thing with this other one, Fear and Loathing, which I also managed to read. Both of them are very vulgar, kind of crazy. They show a lot of drug use, a lot of like they show the underbelly of culture, and that's not something I was expecting to get from reading stuff. I don't know why I always thought that books were like limited to only the most pristine of human society and behavior and stuff. But you're gonna find, reading can be about all kinds of stories. It's like movies. You can find like raunchy stuff. You can find edgy stuff in books too. It doesn't have to be all kind of like square. I don't know. Maybe that's the surface level understanding or feeling, but that's just how I felt about it. So, and now I'm gonna be giving you guys 12 books I read. So this year, and first on my list was One Flew Over One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Kesey. This one I got originally interested in because I watched the movie and I really enjoyed the movie. So after watching it, I'm like, oh, there's a book. Might as well see if it's good. And honestly, it helps a lot, especially when you're first starting to read, to watch the movie and kind of understand the major plot points and then read the book. People say I think it's the opposite, but I disagree. I enjoy watching the movie first and then reading the book, especially as somebody who is not really a reader, who is kind of it can be challenging. So, what happens is a man pretends to be insane to get out of hard like prison work, and then he ends up being put in like a psychiatric hospital with a bunch of characters, and then he's kind of a rebel, he's kind of a hustler, he's kind of a dog, and he basically teaches these men inside of the institution to be dogs, to be animals, to rebel against this big nurse who's really bad and really evil. It's really good. It's pretty short read too, honestly. I think it's like under 300 pages. Really entertaining, really awesome. If you kind of like that particular era of the 60s authors, Ken Kesey, he's a really, really, really interesting guy. You should look into him. He definitely was taking a whole lot of psychedelics. Not when reading, I don't think when he wrote this one, but just an interesting guy. He's very brilliant when it comes to writing all these dream sequences that the chief goes through. And the themes are just cool. Murphy's character is really awesome. By today's standards, this guy's pretty horrible, but it's just fun to root for like an anti-hero, kind of rebel without a cause, because I mean if he rebels he's can only stay in there longer. So out of 5 stars, 5 stars. I don't know. Maybe I'll probably rate them at the end on like 1 to 10 on which one's my favorite. Moving on. The next book that I decided to read was actually not mine. It's my sister. She had it, and I was like, okay, well, I'm about to look into this one and probably read it. So I grabbed it off her shelf, and it was The Picture of Dorian Gray. So this one is about a young dude, somewhere in England. I'm not sure if I remember. Basically, he's really vain. He's young. I think he's like 19 or 18. He's a young guy. I don't know. And he gets painted by this painter dude, and basically he's like, oh, this painting is really awesome. The painting comes out and he looks gorgeous in it, and he makes a wish. Basically, I wish that the painting would get old and ugly and I would stay pristine. He wants to basically switch places with the painting, because the painting is going to stay perfect and it's going to be like a capture moment of what he looked like at the time, and it's not going to be the same with him. He's going to get old and ugly. And this basically plays out as, oh, well, no, well, let's do that then. Fine, let's trade places. You and the painting will trade fates. And he basically proceeds to live a hedonistic, horrible, pleasure-filled life with no responsibility. And the painting pays it. Basically, the painting gets uglier and uglier and uglier and fades and gets old. And he stays beautiful and angelic. And he's just coasting through life, basically. But eventually, the guilt does get to him. The bill for that life catches up, And so I kind of like that, the theme that there's a price for everything. There's a lot of like ways you can kind of relate to the human desire to like want to kind of hold on to your beauty or your youth and stuff. And you get to see Dorian live, and you get to see his fall. So I love to see that. I love to see it's a clear arc. You love to see the rise, and then no spoilers. I don't know if that spoils it too much, but it's a good one. I recommend this one. I miss like also five, maybe like four. I actually took a big break from reading for a while after that because I got kind of bored. I just got caught up with life. I didn't want to read too much, and so I needed something to like break me out of the slump. And then I chose this one, The Giver by Lewis Lowry. Super short. I think this thing's like maybe like what? How many pages was this one? Like 170 pages. Super short. A kid basically is tasked with becoming the keeper of all of a civilization's, not civilizations, like a community's memories. So basically, all these people, they offload their memories of like um, grief, pain, the outside world to one person, and that's their job, to just hold those memories for the people. So a lot of these people living in society don't know what it's like to feel a certain way. I'm sure that you might have read this one in high school. I didn't get the chance to read it, so I was like, well, I need a short one. It's a classic. I can get it off the list, and people reference it all the time. Did I enjoy it? It was alright. I think I finished it in like 3 days too. So it actually put me ahead of my schedule because it was like one book a month, and this one was so short that I was able to get it out the way and make up for that time that I spent doing nothing. Did I enjoy it? That was alright, honestly. Only reason I finished it all the way through because it was so short. If you need a short read to get through, something quick, I give it about 3 out of 5 stars. That's my opinion, okay? Because I mean, I'm not no expert either, but this is my opinion. Please. And this one I did enjoy actually a lot more than the other one, and that is The Stranger by Albert Camus. And this is basically about a dude who's kind of very nonchalant, I guess the best way to put it. He's super nonchalant and he just lives his life being like, oh, whatever, I'm down. So he's kind of like a go with the flow kind of guy. It kind of reminds me of like the Big Lebowski, like the dude energy. That's what I was kind of getting from when I was reading this. And you basically just see the consequences of what the apathetic attitude gets you in life. And his circumstances just get more and more dire. His life gets worse as he walks his way through life and just kind of shrugs everything off. Really good book, actually. I enjoyed the pacing of it. Was really, really cool. The character as well. Just his attitude when it comes to things. It's just funny the way that he acts. I think like once he's talking to this girl and she's like, "Do you love me?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah, I guess." I don't know. It's just funny the way that he approaches everything. So I really enjoy this one. This one I would recommend to anyone. The Stranger. 5 out of 5. So then I was like, okay, now I'm getting back into the groove. So the next one that I chose was The Road by Cormac McCarthy. This one I've heard is his more easy, like intro into his stuff, and it's basically about son and the dad going through the apocalypse and just how much the dad loves his kid. Very sad too at times, although if you're into the apocalypse kind of thing, I could recommend this one for you because it is pretty easy to read. He writes it pretty like standard. Like it's not like you have to squint your eyes and blink and try to like, oh, what is that? No, he's very literal with the things he says. It's like very on the page, very blank, very straightforward, and that's what I enjoyed about reading this book because I mean it is kind of long, but it's such a breeze to read because, like I said, it's very straightforward. Would I want to recommend this one to somebody? Yes, if they like The Walking Dead and Apocalypse and Armageddon and stuff or whatever you want to call it. Let's not probably give four, maybe three. Actually, 3 out of 5. Actually, four. We'll do four. We'll do four on that one. The next one I actually don't have with me. I ended up giving it away as a gift, but I'll put it up right here. It's Trout Fishing in America by Richard Brodigan. I got this book in like a little bookstore up in like Big Sur, California on my way up. On like a road trip. I was going to San Francisco, and I stopped at this. It's called the Henry Mill Library. really beautiful, beautiful little place. And at the time, I had read Hunter S. Thompson, and I was reading about Ken Kesey. Richard Brautigan, kind of hippie, out there guy in the 70s. I'll probably put up pictures of what he looked like, but he wrote this little like book. It's kind of like in between poetry, in between rambling, in between stories, and he basically uses the sentence "trout fishing America" as like a motif throughout the whole entire book. It kind of gets repeated over and over again, and then it starts meaning different things. It starts like sentences, it becomes people. I read somewhere I think that the guy was like partially schizophrenic, and you can kind of see that at least the atypical mindset brain that he had, because it's actually pretty funny. It's really funny. Some of the stuff in there is like hilarious. Like it made me laugh out loud while I was reading there, sitting by myself. It was fantastic. I enjoyed the whole entire book. It's really short. It's really funny. It's witty. It's like dumb and smart at the same time. So I don't know how he did it. Recommend it to anyone that's first getting into reading. If I would have started my reading journey over, I probably would have started something like this. Because it's so light, it's so funny, and it's entertaining. And I think that's the key is to start with something that you can stay with. And then on that same trip, I also picked up another book that I do have with me, and it's from the same library. And I was going with that theme of the 70s, kind of counterculture people. It was Joan Didion's Slouching Towards Bethlehem. This is basically a series of essays from the author Joan Didion. She writes about her time in like Hollywood, LA. Um, um, I think there's one in Nevada. I think one in Vegas. She just talks about like California. She pulls stories from like about Joan Baez. They're talking about I think the first one's about a wife who was accused of killing her husband, and there was a very publicized trial, I think, and really interesting the way she talks about it. It can be a drag. It was kind of difficult to understand some of the things she was saying. I had to go back a couple times because like I said, I'm not the best reader, and she's just got a really cool voice. It's a detached kind of coolness that she writes about stuff. It's a little cynical, and it's like a little dry, and it's really an amazing like glimpse into her personality and her way of being. Like you can really gather who Joan Didion is through this writing. Like it's her style is bleeding through, and I think part of that's because it is personal essays. I really enjoyed it. I would recommend this one. Although I don't know if you're not particularly interested in that era of history of that era of music, then probably you can skip this one. But I would give it a 4 out of 5. And this is what I mean when I say like find what you enjoy reading about. I was really this year I was really into that era, 70s and stuff. And Hunter S. Thompson, since he kicked off the my reading habit. This one is The Revolt of the Cockroach People by Oscar Zeta Acosta. And if you don't know, in Hunter S. Thompson's Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, he basically had a big Mexican lawyer with him, and he's like a Chicano rights lawyer, and they called him the Brown Buffalo. And he follows him throughout the story of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. But he was actually a real person, and he hung out with Hunter S. Thompson, although they had a bit of an estranged relationship later into his life. He wrote this book here, Revolt of the Cockroach People. It's basically about a Chicano lawyer. It's like it's like about his life, but it's also fictional. It's just about this lawyer who gets caught up in the civil rights movement for Mexican Americans during the 60s and 70s, and just talks about them protesting. Very fictionalized, very exaggerated. Great story, really funny. The character, though, is not the easiest to get along with. It's very dated by today's standards. Reading this, there's a couple times where it's very shocking, the kind of things he does and the kind of person he is. And if you've read the book, you probably already know what I'm talking about. But there's a lot of debauchery, a lot of bad outright criminal behavior for a lawyer. So, is it for everyone? Would I recommend it? No, not really. I thought it was fun, but I think it's only because I read so much from this era and like Hunter S. Thompson and kind of wanted to build out my understanding of his world. But would I really recommend this one to anyone? No, I don't think I would. But I'll give it 3 out of 5 stars. This next one I had to get back onto the classics. I had to get back on reading stuff that was kind of like on my list of stuff to read. Oh, sorry, give you a peek. And it was a trial by, I think, is it Franz Kafka? F. Kafka. Surrealist, kind of existential dude. I had read The Stranger, and The Stranger is kind of similar in terms of themes. There's like a big government force, and this person that's walking their way through the bureaucracy gets lost. But this is basically that times 100 because none of the book really makes sense. A guy gets accused of a crime at the beginning of the book. He has no idea what the crime is, and he has to work his way through the legal system without any really understanding or idea of what he's even being accused of. There's no idea for us either. And we're reading through the book, crazy, surreal. Sometimes things move places. The scenes being described are difficult to understand in your head because they don't really necessarily make sense. And I don't think they're literal. It's like kind of a dream-like logic that follows this book. It's still very interesting. It's a little long, not in terms of length, but it can drag on because it gets a little repetitive. It's a lot of rooms, mazes, corridors, hallways, and stuff that is kind of boring. It's about bureaucracy. It's about having to go to a courtroom and talk with this lawyer. That's the whole entire book. It's all about that. And if you are not like interested from the beginning, you can probably just go ahead and stop reading it because it's that's the whole book. The whole way through is like that. So would I recommend it to somebody? If you want to say that you read Kafka, sure, go ahead. But for everyone else, I think you can skip out on this one. Overall, I'll give this one a 3 out of 5. The next one is also one that I don't have. But it'll be very brief. I'll put it up right here. It is Post Office by Charles Bukowski. Basically follows the exploits of Charles I don't know if it's him. It could be him. It's like a fictionalized version of his life and events that happened to him. Of him working in the post office, and he's a drunk, and he's a wino. He's a gambler and a misogynist, dog ladies man. Horrible person. Basically, you're following the worst of the worst. It's like you're following a degenerate. An absolute. There's like no getting around the fact he's a degenerate, and I think that's his whole brand. That he's like, oh, I'm a degenerate, but I'm not ashamed to be a degenerate. That's okay. That's my whole kind of shtick. Now imagine if that degenerate spent, I don't know, is it 25 years, however long, working in the post office delivering mail in the 60s, and then that's what you get in this book. Is it funny? Yes. Is it hard to swallow at times? Yes. Is it light? As well. I think so. It doesn't take itself too seriously. There's some pretty raunchy stuff in there, but if you're willing to take in this character, this anti-hero character, this degenerate, if you're willing to spend time with him, then you will probably enjoy this book. If you're comfortable with the unhinged people, if you ever wanted to see what it was like to live with the drunk uncle, give it a read. What do I give the book out of 5? 4 out of 5. It was kind of funny. It was very funny. I had a blast reading it. The next one I have, and I don't have it with me as well, is The Alchemist. And this is basically about a boy who embarks on a journey to, I think, the pyramids to see his self-destiny fulfillment, like his story, his personal fable. He has to fulfill his fable, so he has to go to the pyramids to look for a treasure. And he starts out as like a shepherd. It's like a really good book for realizing that life's kind of about the risks you take, about following your destiny, about following your dreams. It's kind of like the whole book is, follow your dreams, fulfill your destiny. So, good book, compelling story. I did actually enjoy the whole thing throughout. Although not really my particular genre that I enjoy, but I did enjoy it. I'd give that one 4 out of 5. And finally, my last book that I read this year. And this one, it's a little different than all the other ones. Not really, I guess. It was The Shining by Stephen King. And this one, I think I saw it at Target. And I was like, at Target, they gave me a gift card for my birthday. And I'm like, all right, well, I got $25 to spend on something. I went to the books and they had The Shining. I'm like, okay, this is a classic. You have to read this stuff. And this goes back to my other thing where I was saying that you kind of have to like, that no, this is earlier what I was saying that I enjoy reading books that already have movies out because you get to kind of see the movie, and then when you read the book, it helps you connect the dots. For me, it's hard when I'm reading something to visualize it all in my head, and so when you watch the movie first, it kind of like, okay, you have something to reference to when it's mentioning stuff, and that really helped me through this book because it's a long book. I think it's like 600 pages. If you do not know the plot of The Shining, you've probably been living on a rock for a couple years, 1,000 years, million years. Basically, a drunk named Jack Torrance gets tasked to take care of a big hotel in Colorado in the hills, and it's really remote. You can't get there once the winter starts, and you can't leave once the winter starts. So he takes his family up there, and he kind of is coming off a bad streak of being an ex-alcoholic, and his wife kind of hates him, and his kid kind of scared of him a little bit, and he's trying to be better. He got fired from his job for, I think, beating a kid. So, and he was a teacher, by the way. So that meant he was a teacher, and he got mad at a kid, and he beat him, and now he has to go work another job. This one was really good, really awesome story because it kind of breaks it into the three perspectives. Like an event will happen, and then it's told through the three perspectives of the people. Like Jack, his wife, and his son. They all get their own chapter to explore that event, so you get to see what it was like from all three perspectives, and that's really cool. That's a really awesome way to tell a story, I think, and that's the first book out of these ones that did that. And I really enjoyed it. It's a long read. It's very fun though, and very funny. The characters are, relatable. I'm not an axe murderer, but you can find parts of your character in Jack, and I think that's kind of what he was getting at. I think he wrote this book. Stephen King did when he was like going through alcoholism. So there's a lot of stuff like that deals with addiction, what it's like to be a good dad, what it's like to be a good person for Wendy, what it's like to be a good mother. There's all kinds of different conflicts that arise with these characters that are pretty well written, and the characters seem rounded out. They seem to be kind of relatable, a lot more than the movie. In the movie, Jack Nicholson just gets to chopping up his family. And would I recommend to anyone? Yeah, I actually would recommend this one to a lot of people. I think that's why Jack Nicholson. That's why Stephen King is such a good writer. People like him. But anyways, that's it. That's all I have for you guys. Hopefully, this year you guys can start a habit. Maybe that habit is reading. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's going to the gym. Maybe it's watching more YouTube videos. I don't know. But 2026 is going to be a good year. And maybe you enjoyed what I had to say about these books. Maybe you didn't. I don't know. But my last thing I'd say, like, what to do if you want to get into reading this year. I'd say set yourself a goal that's easy to follow, that you can actually do. I think 12 books is not that bad of a goal. That means one book a month, which is pretty manageable. I mean, if you can begin the habit, because it kind of is a habit, you have to build it. It's going to be hard at first, especially if you haven't read since like high school or like middle school, even for me. Then start with something light. Start with something that you enjoy a lot, something that you can get yourself through, and don't be afraid to put it down if it's too much and switch boats to another one. Obviously, you can't keep doing that because you're never going to finish one book, but throughout this time, I didn't mention like all the countless books that I stopped. I think the list of books that I got bored while reading was like six or seven of them. So, yeah. Anyways, that's all I have to say. Good luck and Happy New Year. Ciao.